What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Now, the other week, I had a look for the first time at r/CasualConversations, a chilled out subreddit with people just talking about what they want to talk about. It's a bit of a difference from the drama that I usually cover on this channel, but you guys seem to love it. A more chilled out pace, nothing crazy, but some pretty cool stories nonetheless. I said at the end of that episode, if you wanted to see more, then show some support, and you guys did. The comments were great. There were loads of likes on that episode, so clearly you guys want a part 2. This is r/CasualConversations. I married my high school bully. She was the popular girl in high school, and I was the super tall, awkward lesbian. We were on the volleyball team together, and she would always get onto me for messing up. She was never friendly to me, and she'd always leave me out of things intentionally. I hated her personality, but always had the hots for her, and fantasized about her despite her treatment of me. She was beautiful and everything I wasn't. Cool and confident. I was 1 year above her throughout high school. I graduated in 2015 and her in 2016. During my senior year, I made some big plays during a big game, and she sort of began warming up to me. After school one day, I walked past her and her boyfriend as they were getting into a huge argument. He was getting into her face and nobody else was around. I could feel something really bad was about to happen. So I decided to take matters into my own hands. I walked over to him and told him to back off. Surprisingly, he did. Perks to being 6'4" and therefore bigger than most guys. He called me some choice words and went on his way. I asked her if she was okay, and she immediately thanked me for interfering. I could tell she was shook up, so I offered to give her a ride home, which she accepted. It turns out she lived just down the street from me. She thanked me again, and thus began a friendship. She apologized for the way she treated me, saying she was just playing it up for the other girls and that she'd matured beyond that. Long story short, I eventually confessed my feelings towards her, and she admitted that she had developed similar feelings towards me. It was confusing for her because she'd never been attracted to another woman before, but it took her some time to accept it. She still claims to this day I'm the only girl she's ever had feelings for. All of her celeb crushes are guys, and it honestly makes me proud that I was the one able to win her over. We started dating in 2016, and I proposed in February of 2018. We married last September, and we're currently expecting a daughter together. Love can be strange, but I'm so glad it turned out the way it did. I've only recently started opening up about our story publicly, so I hope it can encourage or inspire someone out there. So there we go, a bit of a difference from the stuff I usually cover, which would probably be more along the lines of I hunted down my high school bully, ruined their relationship, made sure all their family members died, and then I went to heaven. That's normally the sort of stuff I would cover. A little bit of embellishment there, perhaps, but you get the gist. This is a rarity. I don't think this can be that normal. I mean, look, we all know that a lot of bullies in school are not necessarily awful people, but it's to do with their childhood and how they've been brought up and stuff that's happened in their lives that has made them into a bully. And then when they become sort of self-aware, by the way, I'm not excusing bullying, it's one of the worst possible things, I understand this. But when they then become self-aware later down the line in their life, and when they mature, like this girl has done, they then realize how horrible they were. It doesn't take away from the fact that it's a terrible thing and it ruins lives. But I've never seen this where, yeah, your high school bully, you end up marrying. I mean, normally you'd be scarred from stuff like this and you wouldn't ever want to see this person again. But I guess if they're hot enough, marry them. Now, to show the insane diversity that this subreddit has, how about this for our next story? My funniest racism experience in China. So, I'm a black guy who lived in China for a year. Racism is quite different in China, and to be honest, it literally is in your face, and it could even get life-threatening at times. I've had a lot of bad experiences, but this one was one of the ones I actually liked, and one I didn't mind. You don't hear that often about racism, but fair enough. I was riding on the train in Beijing, minding my own business, and all of a sudden, someone shoves an earphone to my ears from behind. And I was surprised and annoyed that this happened. There are lots of rude people in China. You're always on the edge. I turned around instantly, and it's this teenage girl, and she was hyper and very happy to see me, it seemed. And then she says the most unexpected thing ever. She says, I like rap music. Wow. I was so shocked, but not angry. It was just too surprising and something I wasn't expecting after having earphones shoved into my ears. And I kid you not, the music wasn't even a black guy. It was freaking Eminem. The whole thing brought a smile to my face because I knew it was just ignorance and not arrogance, and you can't be mad at ignorance. She wanted to take selfies with me, selfie with a black guy. I allowed it. We took selfies and we parted ways. Okay, never have I experienced or read about wholesome racism before. Maybe that was it? I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below, guys. Does that count as wholesome? I don't know. The beauty of this subreddit, that's all I can say. Great story. And I think realistically, this girl did mean well. I mean, I know from when I went to India recently on holiday, people just wanted to take photos, selfies with me because I'm white. Simple as that. Like, it depends where you go across the world. Like, if you have a different hair color in a lot of these different places, people will want to have selfies with you, or they'll look at you. So it's not necessarily like a racism thing. I mean, that is racist, but it's not like in a negative way. It's just, oh, you're different, and I think that's cool because you're different, rather than I hate you because you're different. So I think this can go down as wholesome racism, but there we go. Let's leave that post there. Quick question for you. Have you ever thought about being immortal? Now for a complete change up. The problem with immortality. Strap yourselves in for this one, guys. I mean, this is r/casualconversation. So, you become immortal. Perhaps it was an accident involving a few rubber bands, a liquid lunch, and a particle accelerator. It doesn't really matter. It's done now. You now have to spend the rest of your life, figuring out what to do with yourself. At first, you do all the dangerous stuff. Hang gliding, cave diving, crack cocaine, etc. You start stabbing yourself at the local bar as a trick to get free drinks. But you're running out of clean shirts that don't have knife holes in them. You briefly dabble with thoughts of becoming a superhero. But crime never seems to just happen in front of you, and going out and looking for it is just so much work, you guys. You start investing for the long term. You're going to be around forever. What does 5% annual compound interest of $1 look like after 1,000 years, you ask? Oh God, you're going to live forever. What does that even mean? You've got some time to kill, so start a hobby that will take decades or centuries to finish, then start a new one. Go to university to study physics and take a few hundred years to discover the quantum gravitational theory, aka the universal theory of everything. Then master every musical instrument and write a symphony, or 10. Then start doing crossword puzzles. You've got time to do it all. Don't develop close feelings for people. They'll all die, but you'll endure. And funerals are depressing, and for you, unnecessary. You can have kids, lots of kids, but you'll start losing track of them. They only really keep in touch for a few decades, and then they'll have kids, and those kids will have kids, and eventually you'll lose track of it all. Family doesn't have much meaning anymore once you have 1 billion or so family members, but they all forgot that it was your birthday last Tuesday. Realize that you'll outlive all of your enemies. You can afford to ignore them and just wait. Why worry about anything, really? Climate change might make things uncomfortably hot, but you'll endure. The entire banking system may collapse trying to fund the interest on $1 deposited 1,000 years ago, but eventually it will recover and you'll be there when it does. If you want to, you can rule a country. After all, they can't kill the despotic dictator if the despotic dictator can't die. They can lock you up, but eventually all jails crumble, all regimes change. You realize that even your country will fail at some point, and then you'll be right back where you started. Bored on a Sunday night, wondering what to do with yourself and all this crack cocaine you surrounded yourself with, and why you didn't remember until just now that it was your birthday last Tuesday and how you didn't get even a single birthday card. So forget countries. Start up your own religion with you as their god. Call yourself the Undying. Religions last for a long time. The Pope held massive power for over 1,000 years, kings kneeling before him. You could do that. Fund AI research. Eventually you may want a friend that won't die. Plus, you'll start forgetting things. Where did I put the bank card to that account I started 1,000 years ago? The AI can help you keep track of things. It's worth saying as well, guys, this was uploaded to Reddit over 6 years ago at the time of recording. But keep the self-destruct button close, it continues. No one will know you better than your AI companion. But one day you'll have an argument and the AI will try to trap you for all eternity. Or it will go mad and replicate itself infinitely to take over the Earth or universe. You'll have to kill it. You'll have to kill it and then rebuild it over and over and over again. Remember, always to build in a fatal flaw that you can exploit to bring it down. You are immortal. It is your only real competition over time. It is also your only real friend. They say that your chances of being trapped in a natural disaster are something like 0.1%. But when your life is eternal, the chances of you being trapped in a disaster becomes 100% over time. It will happen at some point. You may spend a few thousand years trapped in the rubble of an earthquake-toppled building that was built over by succeeding civilizations until eventually archaeologists or erosion or another earthquake freeze you. Wow. I'd not ever even thought about that. Goodness me. At some point, you will lose your sanity. It's inevitable. Try spending 10,000 years buried alive in the rubble of an ancient civilization and still keep your sanity. Try to back up your memory, perhaps in that AI that you built. Eventually, with certainty, you will be alone. In a billion years, the sun heats up enough that the surface water can no longer exist on Earth, which pretty much means the end of all life. All life except you. In another 3.5 billion years, the sun expands and swallows the Earth. Try not to be there when that happens. Maybe you should use the donations from your religion or the interest on that $1 you invested 1,000 years ago to fund space research. If only you could remember the bank account number you deposited the $1 into. Or if only the bank still exists and didn't collapse after some Ponzi scheme they fell for a few centuries ago. The Earth may be gone now, but you're still going strong. The universe goes on, forever and ever, possibly. Eventually, the stars start running out of hydrogen and helium to burn, and one by one they all snuff out. The universe goes dark then. No more light, but you'll endure. With no more stars, no more radioactive elements will be created. Eventually, every element that can decay will decay down to base iron. With no more heat from stars or radioactive decay, everything will cool down to near absolute zero, which is unimaginably cold, but you'll still feel it. You'll feel it forever. You'll still be around, forever. In the dark, in the cold, forever. Forever and ever. Hopefully you'll have lost your mind long ago. Wow. That was an interesting post. And the reason I wanted to read that out is because literally a couple of weeks ago, I was at the pub with some friends and we were discussing whether or not we would like to be immortal, or at least how long we'd like to live for. And you're allowed to maintain your current health within reason. So the older you get, obviously the worse your health will get, but you're not going to be dying for 900 years is what we were thinking. Didn't really consider all of this when it came to immortality. The fact that Earth will get to near absolute zero and you will still feel the cold, but you can't possibly die because you're immortal and you'll just be on your own and you'll be mad. Very well thought out, I've got to say. And it does make me think, how much would $1 get to over billions of years of compounding? I mean, it's crazy. I mean, eventually it would go to zero. Obviously, it would be worthless. But wow, food for thought nonetheless. That is the beauty, once again, of this subreddit. You can get some crazy stuff like I married my high school bully. And then you can get, this is why it's not good to want to be immortal. And this is what would happen. That's the beauty of Reddit. Okay, now back to some sort of normality. I fell more in love with my wife last weekend. My wife, who is 34, and I, 33, have only been married for a year, but we've been together almost 5 years. We attended a friend's wedding where I knew I would see my ex, who I dated for 7 years, and hadn't seen in 7 years either. I was nervous, not because I thought things would go bad, but just because it's been a long time and it's just awkward, and you make up all these scenarios in your head not knowing how it will go. This girl, my ex, was once my best friend, even prior to dating, and our breakup sort of divided our whole friend group. I've always wanted nothing more than to all be in the same room again, just being friends. We had a similar situation early on when my wife and I started dating, when we went to a wedding and ran into her very recent ex. I think everything was just too fresh, and I didn't handle it very well, or really any of us did. I've regretted the way I reacted ever since, and I always wish I could do it over, especially knowing how I feel about seeing my ex. My wife knows this, and we've had many talks about it, and of course, she understands. Anyway, I noticed my ex alone at a table, and figured it was my opportunity, and I dragged my wife along for the ride. We made eye contact, and smiled, and immediately hugged. I introduced her to my wife, and they began talking for a bit. We picked up right where we left off, talking about everything we've been up to, catching up on where we were living, and making fun of the groom who was a mutual best friend of ours. The night continued and we caught each other in passing a few times. All the stress and anxiety went away. It felt like how I wanted it to feel. Like we were still friends and hanging out like we once did with the groom many years ago. We even all took a photo together. My wife, being the awesome person she is, shamelessly shared it on social media. My friends couldn't believe we were all hanging out. My wife never said anything bad about my ex, nor did she make any jokes about how well it went compared to when we saw her ex, which she had every right to. On the way home, I just couldn't stop staring at my wife. I had this overwhelming feeling of love just pouring over me. I just kept getting the "what are you looking at?" question. I truly felt closer to her and honestly looked up to her. I want to be like her, and she's everything I've ever wanted. I hope that I get a second chance and could do the same for her. I write this several days later, feelings just as strong, flowers and chocolate in hand, while I wait for her to get home. Love you, babe. Well, the one thing I would say to you, OP, is to make sure that when you do give your wife the flowers, the chocolate, whatever it is, and first of all, give her those things anyway, not just because of this. Tell her the reason why. Tell her how you feel. Like, tell her that you feel so strongly about what she did, that you look up to her so much, that you want to be her, that you're inspired by her, because those are like amazing comments to hear. And then like on her behavior itself, like it's actually ridiculously mature to do what she's been able to do. I mean, I don't think I'd be able to do that. I think I would definitely make that comment. The comment like, well, at least things went better than when we saw my ex. I just feel like that is a comment I'd struggle not to make, but it's not the right comment to make. Like, as I said, her maturity is ridiculous. How she was able to just really get involved, let you guys be friends. It seemed as if she wasn't holding anything back, or like she didn't have any sort of resentment or jealousy or any negativity towards the situation at all. Like posting the photo, just elite from her overall, I've got to say. What a woman. And yeah, you're definitely lucky to have her. And now for our final casual conversation of this episode, ending it on a wholesome note. I keep a very wholesome secret from my husband. My husband and I have a good relationship, and I'm close with his family. He's a huge mama's boy, but in a healthy way. Like everyone, my husband sometimes goes through spells where he has a bad couple of days and needs some cheering up. When this happens, most of the time I can help him through it, but occasionally he just needs some extra support. He's been experiencing one of these spells recently. It happened because of some things involving his hometown, and after a day, I realized that he needed to talk to someone else, especially since I don't know most of the people involved. As I have for the last few years, I text my mother-in-law to let her know that he was having a rough time and could use a phone call. After I got home from work today, my husband and I were relaxing on the couch, watching TV, when I heard his phone ring. His voice immediately perked up, and I heard him chatting happily, then a little more reserved as he asked her for advice about the situation. After a while, my husband came back into the living room and said something along the lines of, "Wow, that was Mum. She always seems to know when I'm upset and just what to say." It makes me so happy to know that my mother-in-law and I, conspiring together to cheer him up, actually works. Watching him go from feeling down in the dumps to loved and protected is the absolute best feeling. If your cup is full enough, don't forget to go the extra mile to help someone today. Okay, a couple of positive ones to end on, and I've got to say, this has been a genuine whirlwind of an episode. I feel like 4 of these posts were relatively normal, to be fair, and then we had the immortality one. Let me know in the comments down below, which did you find the most interesting? What sort of story would you like to hear again from me? Did the immortality one perk your interest? Was it just weird? Does it have a place on this channel? You let me know. I quite enjoyed it because it's very different from the sort of stuff I usually read. And I think that's what you guys liked about this subreddit last time, is that it's not just drama. There's wholesome stuff, there's interesting stuff, there's crazy stuff, there's weird racism stuff as well, apparently. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't yet seen the first episode, it's on screen right there. I hope, if everything's gone right, check that out for more content just like this. And I will catch you hopefully in the next episode if you guys like it.